something beautiful this season. Hydrix Colorado Tree Farm Nursery has trees, shrubs, and perennials that are grown for our harsh climate. Plant smarter with expert guidance and quality plants. Visit coloradotreefarmnursery.com.
Hey there, crew. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is April 6th, 2026. You're watching Peaks2Plains Weather Mornings with Meister. I am Matt Meister. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on social media this morning, please do me a favor. Go ahead and share this post so we can get it into the algorithm, let more and more people know about Peaks2Plains Weather. And I thank you for doing that. I know you've been doing so here over the first few months of Peaks2Plains Weather. I have an exciting couple of months ahead. There is going to be someone joining me on Peaks2Plains Weather, and so we are excited to bring more weather to you, more times of the day, more personality, more fun, more information. That is going to be pretty awesome, and thanks for joining us and trusting us with your weather forecast. We sure do appreciate that. All right, I want to talk about this morning here some weather really quick. Over the weekend, obviously, it was stunning outside. Yesterday, 62 in the Springs, almost 70 in Pueblo. We had 70s over the southeastern plains and lots of 60s over the mountains. Really wasn't too different between the mountains and plains. And that's because there's some warmer air over the high country that will spread to the east today. So some of us are going to get a bump in the temperatures. I did some posts on this over the weekend. And so in case you missed it, I wanted to share this with you. Snowpack, obviously not great. I mean, we've been talking about that for a really, really long time. But notice the southern basins. Man, we are less than 15% of average on the snowpack. Obviously, Monarch closed. We've got some other closings coming up. Gunnison Basin running about 20%. Doing a little bit better up across the northern part of the state where we're only about a third of average. And so statewide, it's only 26% of average. And you can see at Breck, the Snowcats working hard to move the snow around. You see in between the runs there where we have, we don't have the benefit of the snow that we built early in the season with the snowmaking and moving the snow around as we've had storms come through. I mean, it's pretty paltry looking. And when you look at sort of the long term compared to average here, you see that black line. That's where we are this year on the snowpack. We have started to obviously melt off the snow, get into spring runoff season here. And the red line is the previous minimum. Now, that's not 1 year there. That's whatever the date was, whatever the lowest snowpack was on that date. That's what that is. And look at the gap between where we were on the minimum previously and where we are this year. That little bump in the black line that you see is the snow that we got last week, and it obviously wasn't enough to really make any big improvements. Another way to look at how intense or how weak the winter has been, if you want to think of it that way, is the Accumulated Winter Season Severity Index. This was developed at Purdue University in 2015. And they went back in time and looked at, since in Colorado Springs, it's since 1950. There's some other places where they could go back farther than that. But it looks at the daily temperature over the course of the winter, daily snowfall amounts, and how much snow is on the ground. And every day you get a score. Like if it's cold and you get some snow that day, you add to your score. And so you can see here that another way to look at it, this winter has been no good as well. I mean, it's not been amazing. So I'm kind of excited that we are starting to head towards spring here because winter stunk and maybe spring will be a little bit better in terms of some moisture. So let's talk about our forecast for today, and then I'm going to bring in a guest that we have here this morning and is going to kind of help us get the day started off. So compared to this time yesterday, here's where we are. And I'm going to hop over to the weather wall here to talk about that because we are warmer than we were 24 hours ago. You can see that Colorado Springs by 7 degrees, Springfield by 19 degrees here early this morning. And the temperature's shaping up like this, almost 40 in the Springs. We do have 40s up against the foothills, a little bit chillier out across the far eastern plains where a few spots are around freezing. And we've got 20s for the most part over the mountains and valleys. Today, our high temps a little bit warmer than yesterday. So if you like warm temps, you'll like this. We'll get to around 80 over the far eastern plains. Mountains will bump up a little bit compared to yesterday as well. We'll have some 60s up over the Palmer Divide into Teller County. Temperature-wise, really nice day out there. There is a little bit of a difference between today and what we had over the weekend. And because of that, on Banjo's barometer, he's going with a 9 today. Really nice day to be outside. Don't get me wrong, just can't go with a 10 for a couple of reasons. We've got a red flag warning in effect for Baca County in the southeastern corner of the state because the wind will pick up here as we head into the afternoon. Humidity levels will be low. You can see this will be our windiest spot today. And then as we head into the overnight, we get a change. A cold front comes in from the east over the plains, backs up against the Rocky Mountains. And as we head into the afternoon tomorrow, we have southeast wind upslope behind that, and still a west wind over the mountains. And so we'll get a little bit of a change behind this cold front. Overnight tonight, colder out across the Palmer Divide at least, compared to what we're waking up to this morning as we get into the 20s for places like Kiowa, out towards Simla, Lyman, along I-70. And we'll be, not see as many areas into the 40s up against the hills. Mountains won't change too much from where we are right now. And we'll pull the temps back a little bit on Tuesday, back into the 60s for the Springs. You don't see any 80s out here, so we lose about 5 to 7 degrees. And the mountain areas will lose a couple degrees as well because not only the cold front impacting us for Tuesday, but an upper level wave coming in. That wave is currently off the coast of California, and it's going to kind of ride in on some west-southwest flow here and move over the region on Tuesday. Those two things are going to give us a chance of some moisture. We'll see some cloud buildups today. Somebody might see a sprinkle or a flurry up on the peaks, but it's a mainly dry day. However, tomorrow behind the front, and with that wave coming in from the west, we'll see clouds build as we head into the afternoon, and there will be a few showers and perhaps a thunderstorm around. Now, this is not a big deal tomorrow. I think the coverage will be a little bit better south of Highway 50 than it'll be to the north of there. And if we look at the storm strength here, brought to you by Tamco Hail Guard Shingles, these aren't, you don't see a lot of colors on here. Right? Anything we get is going to be weak, but it's more likely, like I said, kind of to the south of Highway 50 than we'll have to the north. Then by the time we hit Wednesday, we go to the other end of the weather spectrum. We're ahead of a cold front that'll come in at some point on Thursday, so we warm back up. We start to see the wind pick up a little bit as well, and things change a little bit, especially behind the next cold front that comes in. That gets here as we move into Thursday, and our weekend forecast starts to look a little bit different around here. Okay, I want to bring in special guest this morning. He is a good friend of mine, and he is a partner here at Peaks2Plains Weather. Spencer Verhines is joining us this morning from American Classic Coffee. Spence, how are you? Oh, wait, hold on a second. I got your microphone here. I had to change some things up over the weekend from a production standpoint. And so, Spence, oh, shoot, what's going on here? Let me go ahead and say hi again. Oh, there we go. We got you now. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing well. Thank you very much. I've been changing lots of things behind the scenes because I want to make things as efficient as possible. And sometimes when I do that, it causes me some issues. Spence, thanks for joining us from American Classic Coffee this morning. This is a big day for you. Tell me why.
Well, I have, I put Pikes Peak on the website. I've been selling it locally at the markets for coming up on a year. I wanted to see if it would get some good reception, and it has. It's a really good coffee, and just by selling it at the markets, it's almost outperformed our bestseller, Rocky Mountain. But it's available on the website now, so people can order it from their homes, and it is available for subscription as well. It's a medium roast Costa Rican with notes of chocolate, ripe red apple, and cane sugar. It's a really good coffee. Costa Rica is known for their coffee, and this is a good one. So I wanted to let everybody know that it's available and to check it out.
Nice. What have people said that they've liked about it? That maybe, especially people that have tried some of your other roasts.
That it's really smooth, and they can taste the chocolate, and it's got a tinge of sweetness to it. Now that's the cane sugar. We don't add any of these flavors. They're So when you taste a note in a coffee like this, or one of our coffees, it's all coming from the bean. You don't have to worry about us adding this or that to add a flavor. You'll never see a pumpkin spice or anything like that because you have to add those flavors. But with these coffees, Pikes Peak in particular, a lot of people comment on the cane sugar and the chocolate. It's just a phenomenal coffee.
Yeah, I've had that, and I like it very much. What do you see when you consider like making new roasts? What are the kinds of things that you think about?
Well, I don't want to get something that's really complicated that people like me would say, what am I looking at? What am I drinking? I want to find something that, excuse me, people are going to really enjoy. And so I look for coffees that carry a chocolate note or something that people can relate to. Like a lot of people can relate to a red apple. People like apples. I ate them a lot as a kid. I eat apples as an adult. Cane sugar, well, who doesn't like cane sugar?
Right.
Sometimes we all have a little too much sugar, but I look for something that people can relate to. A lot of coffees will have notes that I'm looking at it going, I don't even know what that is. And I don't want anything like that. I want something that someone can relate to and they're familiar with as far as the taste. And of course, it's got to be a specialty grade coffee so that when I roast it, it's coming out really smooth and there's no bitterness to it.
Okay, if someone wants to check that out, check out the Pikes Peak Roast and do a subscription, because if you're like me, you drink a lot of it because it is so good, and so you need it to show up on the doorstep for you. Kind of plan ahead of time, and you give a nice discount for that as well. I think it's 15%, right, that you do for the subscriptions.
Yeah, the subscriptions are 15%. Delivery is free whether you subscribe or not if you're in Colorado Springs, and then if you don't subscribe and you want to use a discount code, you can use Peaks at checkout. That gives you 10%.
Okay. And what is the website before I let you go this morning?
AmericanClassicCoffee.com.
And you also have a special release coming up this summer for our big anniversary here in America, 250 years. Are you ready to talk about that one, or do you want to keep that under wraps a little bit?
That's going to stay under wraps. I've got some big plans for that. And I'm still working on the coffee. I have the coffee in mind. I'm still working on the roast. I'm working on all the details for the packaging and whatnot. But that's going to be under wraps for a while. I have another one coming out in June called Dad's Coffee, and that's to honor my father. And it's going to be released on Father's Day. That's a dark roast, and it's a really good coffee as well.
Nice. Well, Spencer, thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it, and you have a good day, my friend. And, I can personally speak to American Classic Coffee. I've had all of the roasts. I love them. I've got Sequoia in right now in my cup here. I'm done with it, actually. I need to get a refill here early this morning. So, Spence, thanks for starting your day with us, my friend. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee.
Here's to 150 years of the state we call home.
At Phil Long Ford Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years. Basically, we're the top dogs of Colorado. And thanks to our deals, selection, and service, we've earned some pretty loyal customers. And our GM Mark, he's the most loyal guy I know. Even after I chewed up his shoe, it was delicious.
Great trucks, amazing deals, and belly rubs for dogs. Come see why Colorado drives Phil Long Ford Motor City. Hey guys, where's my shoe?
Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
All right, I want to talk about the extended forecast here. Yesterday, obviously, like a lot of us, a bunch of sunshine up across Colorado's high country yesterday. It was a little bit breezy, up at the top of the mountains at A Basin there, looking back toward Keystone, toward Breckenridge there. And you can see, I mean, think about this. A Basin is usually the last place to close. And look at it up there. I mean, you can see the dirt coming through already. That just gives you an indication of like how rough it's been on the snowpack. They had a couple clouds up there today. That will change here early this week. We got some moisture rolling through this ridge of high pressure here that dominates kind of the western U.S. We have this system underneath it that I told you about that'll move across the region yesterday. That opens the door for changes here as we head through the week. So let me take you from now into the future and tell you what I'm going to be watching for in the middle part of April, because we get a little bit of a pattern shift here, and it's kind of a fun one that I'm sort of excited about. So as we move into tomorrow, that little wave comes in from the west. It gives us a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. There's a stronger wave up to the north here that'll move across the U.S. and Canada border. And in the Thursday time frame, that's going to send a cold front into the region. It's way off to the north, but it'll still impact our weather. Then as we move into the weekend here, what you'll notice over the western U.S., mainly out ahead of this area of low pressure off the coast that'll take a while to get here, is that you start to see an increase in shower coverage here, not just in the vicinity of the circulation, but out ahead of it as well. This is mainly to the east of the Rocky Mountains, so there's a reason that you start to see this here. And notice it's going to take until early next week probably for the system to finally kick through the area. And so our sky is going to start to look a lot more springy with afternoon cloud buildups. Now, one of the things we'll have to watch is low-level moisture. Behind a low cold front that comes in overnight, we don't have a lot of it around tomorrow. That's one of the reasons I think the shower coverage will be pretty paltry and anything that develops will be pretty weak. Then as we move from Wednesday into Thursday, we get a cold front to come in. That starts to open the door for low-level moisture to increase. This is Gulf moisture. The darker you see here on the dew point, the higher the dew point is. Dew point is a measure of actual moisture in the atmosphere. The higher the number, the more water you have at the surface. That's fuel for thunderstorms, and you push that up against the Rocky Mountains and you get some lift there and you start to open the door. It's one of the ingredients for thunderstorms. If you bring a wave in from the west on top of that has some cool air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, increases your lapse rate, kind of helps to increase the instability a little bit, you can start talking the chance of some thunderstorms. So, obviously can't get too specific on the details here, but the pieces are in place for a more active weather pattern. So if you look at Woodland Park here, with mountains usually, more likely to catch some thunderstorms in parts of the plains unless the pattern is right. Chance of storms tomorrow, Thursday with the front, but then a little bit more active here as we head through the weekend into next week. Does that mean Woodland Park, we're going to get storms every day, or wherever you're watching from in the mountain areas, we're going to have a storm at our house every day? It doesn't, but they will be around. The other thing it does is it moderates our temperatures some. We're not talking record highs or anything like that. From a specific standpoint, where and when this low moves across the vicinity of Colorado, whether it's across New Mexico or whether it ends up being across Colorado, and whether it does so at night or during the heating of the day, will also drive our shower and thunderstorm chances. If it can be closer to home and do it in the middle part of the day, that is going to increase our chances of rain and thunderstorms. So for the Springs, a chance tomorrow, a chance Thursday as the front comes in, better chances as we head into the weekend and we increase the low-level moisture and that system comes in from the west. So we'll watch for that. Notice most of our temperatures here are in the 60s with a couple days in the 70s ahead of that second cold front for the week. Pueblo, it's the same story here. A little bit farther away from the hills though, things get a little bit more interesting because you lose the terrain focus. So our best chance of storms probably comes as that system kicks out somewhere early next week. Again, I might have to adjust kind of which day that is more likely, but it's certainly something to watch, crew, and certainly something that is a little bit more interesting than what we have had around here as of late. And, it doesn't really scream a ton of snow or anything for the mountains, but I don't know about you. I am kind of excited about that. All right, let's see who wants to say hello here early this morning. Kathleen says hi. Kathleen, thanks for watching. Good morning to you. Kathy says that it was a beautiful weekend. She went hiking, as you can see. Says it's amazing. Glenda says good morning as well. Good morning, Glenda. And then a couple folks talking about the coffee. Naoma just popped in and said good morning as well. Good morning to you. Janine says, was there something about free shipping on the coffee? Yeah, Spence will bring it to your house if you're in the Colorado Springs area. And where you can find it locally to try it. He doesn't have a storefront, but he does get out to quite a few farmers markets here as those start firing up, Janine. So if you want to go to AmericanClassicCoffee.com and check that out, he's got his schedule on there. And Ann says you should do it because it is the best coffee ever. I concur with that. It is delicious. It is wonderful. And he is a very, very good dude as well. All right, my friends, that's going to do it for me this morning. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. Overall, another really, really good one out there, as you heard me talk about. Just a little bit different than what we had over the weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning on Mornings with Meister. You need the forecast anytime between now and then. You know what to do. You can get it on the Peaks2Plains Weather app, peaks2plainsweather.com, or you can watch the 24-hour channel in the app on the homepage of the website or on Roku as well. Have a good day.